Hey everybody, this is Seth Keeping It Real, and this is
Danillo. How are you guys? Thank you so much for having me, brother.
We call him the Slice.
That's actually a very
What's
cool.
that?
That's actually a very cool name from Hollywood.
It sounds very Danilo for some reason, the Slice. Well, guys, hope you're doing really, really well. Guys, the reason we're not going to do many other people in video today is because we want to make sure we can present all this content very clearly, very cleanly, and it's really hard to do that when you have multiple people in a video chat. We have a ton of content for you guys. This is something we really feel like is a great need. The number one most common question I get on my live Instagrams every day is about PPC ads. The number one most common confusion for Amazon Passive Income Coaching Group is PPC ads. And one of the number one services that people continually purchase is a PPC ad meeting with Danilo. So we're looking at all the signs and like this is obviously an area where we need to really beef up and provide more content. So what we're going to do today is we're going to go very, very deep and thorough. And I want you to understand that everything we share with you goes all the way back to PPC ads from the very beginning to the end. We're going to start at the foundation and we're going to move all the way to how to launch a product and start making sales on day one. And chances are we're not going to get even that far today because there's so much. And the reason this is so important, you guys, is because the effectiveness of your PPC ad campaign depends 100% on your listing. A lot of times when we'll have a one-to-one and someone meets and they're like, hey, I want to run my PPC ads. But the PPC ad campaign is not very effective and it can't be until you go back and fix the listing. So we're going to show you how it all connects. A lot of people treat PPC ads like it's this little independent silo, like by itself over here, it needs to work. But it doesn't work like that. It's 100% dependent on your listing, which actually goes all the way back to product research. Now, before we start, I just want to share one thing very important. You guys saw us make a shift, and we keep shifting constantly. About 2 months ago, I started doing a lot more teaching on finding products by looking for keywords. Instead of looking for products, you look for keywords. And there's a reason for that. You're going to see the way we're teaching this today is going to all connect with everything before and after that we teach in the course in the live coaching. And so I want you guys to understand that as to give you guys some context. So first, we're going to teach. That way, for those of you guys who go back and watch this, you have a ton of content. Then we're going to open it up for live Q&A for any questions we can help you with at all. All right, Danilo, anything else you want to add to that, man, before we jump in, brother?
I'm so much looking forward to it, but I think there's so much need with PPC help. I totally agree with you. A few times I had to decline some members' meetings because their listing were not optimized, so we could not have a PPC meeting. And so let's do this, man. Let's help our members, and I'm so much looking forward to this.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Can you see my screen okay, brother?
Yes.
Okay. Still see it okay?
Yeah. Perfect.
Okay. All right. Okay, guys. And guys, if you're having trouble seeing the screen when Danilo talks, it'll go back to him. If you still need to see the screen, just click on whichever video you need to look at and it'll stick there. It'll pin it. Okay, so how to launch a product with PPC and make sales from day one. First, part one, there's going to be about 5 parts to this. And Danilo and I already talked last night. We're up to like after 2 in the morning. I think it was after 3 his morning, getting the final touches on this. And so I want you guys to know we take this very, very seriously. Like we just cleared everything else and we just been drilling in, focusing on this. There are several parts to this, but the first part that we're going to go through is understanding PPC ad campaigns and what they mean. So first question, what is the goal of an Amazon PPC ad campaign? Your main goal, more than anything else, is for your product to rank for keywords organically. And if I was to be more specific, I would even say at the top of the first page of search results. So to rank organically means when an Amazon shopper searches for one of your product keywords and your product shows up in the search results not as a sponsored ad. And I'll show you an example of that in a moment. To rank sponsored, however, means a sponsored search result is when a third-party seller like myself or Danilo or you is paying Amazon to promote his product through a sponsored ad. And right here you can see the difference between the two, between organic and sponsored. So anytime someone searches something on Amazon, it will always result in organic result or sponsored result. And you can see that. In some shoppers, they don't even notice the difference. Some do, some don't. Organic means the listing showed up naturally because it's ranking well for the keyword that was searched. And that's where you hear the term sales velocity. A lot of you guys heard Saad use that term in Los Angeles when we did the roadshow there. Sales velocity has to do with the speed of sales, and it impacts your ranking more than anything else. And then sponsored means the listing showed up because the third-party Amazon seller is paying Amazon to display their product ad. So if I'm selling a Renaissance wooden coffee drinking cup, I can run an ad on this item to get it to show up. I'm paying Amazon to make it show up. It has nothing to do with whether or not it's actually working already. It's just showing up because I'm paying money for it. Danilo, anything you'd add to that, brother?
That is perfect, man. That's exactly how it is.
Okay, I'm going to keep going, guys. So here you can see the two examples, results of sponsored result and organic. And if you guys notice on the left side, you can see right here it says sponsored above each title. And over here, it doesn't say anything. So sponsored, that means these people are paying money to have their products show up. And these people are ranking because the relevance and the ranking based on the keyword that was searched is strong. Therefore, they also showed up on the search page of search results when someone typed in yellow coffee mug. Now, how does Amazon know when to display your ad? Guys, this is so important because if you don't know the answer to this question, you could spend lots and lots of, or put in lots and lots of money, have a great budget, but your ads aren't showing up, no one's clicking on them. And so this is very important. Amazon displays your product when the keyword searched is most relevant to your product's title and second to the rest of the listing. And we're going to show you guys exactly what we mean. So for example, let's say an Amazon shopper typed in finger guard for cutting. Notice the titles, you guys. And each of these has sponsored above it. If you look very carefully at this first title right here, what do you see? Finger guard for cutting. Keyword. First, they started with their brand name. Then they have the 2 times. So apparently it's double, 2 of them. And then finger guard for cutting. Look up here. Finger guard for cutting. It's relevant. Now, it doesn't have to be in the same exact order. It doesn't even have to be the exact same words all the time. In fact, if you notice here, this one doesn't say exactly that. It says finger guard. And then down here, it says slicing and dicing. So not cutting, but similar. It's a synonym. And if you look at this one, it says finger guard. And then, oh, here it is again, finger guard for cutting. You have the exact keyword there. On this one, cutting guard. And then it says protects. And, oh, you have cutting, you have guard, and you have finger right there. You have a plural version of finger. So in each case, you can see because this was searched and this is relevant to the keywords they put in their ads, which is also in their title, I guarantee you all 4 of these people have at least or some version of this long tail keyword in their ad. They're paying money so that they could show up here. If this keyword up here is changed too much, then these aren't going to show up. So it's very important your keyword is relevant to your listing. All right, I'll keep going. For a sponsored ad, which seller's products show up first when a shopper types in the keyword for that product? So last time, we just want to make sure it actually shows up because of relevance. Well, here's how. The highest bidder. Whoever is spending, as a general rule of thumb, whoever is spending the most bidding on that keyword will show up first. The higher you bid, the higher up your ad will display. For example, you can see here you have the suggested bid. The low bid is 50 cents. The recommended one is 70. The high one is 73. We're going 96 cents. Why? To make sure it actually shows up. Same thing here. You have another example, and this one's lower. You have 0.75. You have $1. You have 1.38. This is not higher than the highest recommended. So you want to be higher than the 70 if you want to make sure you're showing up. Now, there are some situations where you are not going to be you don't want to be the highest bidder on that keyword. It could be the keyword's costing you too much money, but you don't want to make it negative because you still need some ranking for it. Or maybe in another situation, you're in a super competitive product category and you realize, I'm not ready to spend, 5,000 every day in ads to get up at the top of the first page. Even if I show up on page 2 or the bottom of the first page, I'm still going to make a lot of money and be profitable. So you might play your cards a little different. But as a general rule of thumb, if you want to show up at the top, you're going to bid the most on that keyword.
But I just want to jump on this one because I believe this is so interesting. And I call it this hack, which is not a hack, but it's actually just understanding the way PPC works and the way ranking PPC works. Has made me so, has given me so much visibility for my products. You can literally decide where to position your sponsor ad, really depending on how much you're bidding on that keyword. You can decide, okay, today I want to have my sponsor ad position number 1, page 1. You simply need to raise your bid a little bit more, and you will get to occupy that sponsored position. Of course, as Seth was mentioning, make sure the keywords that you're bidding on are exactly written in the same exact order in your title. Otherwise, your sponsor ad won't be working that good. One thing I want to add, guys, and this is kind of a little hack that I've used a lot in the past and still do it. I've been launching products, for example, and I will launch, for example, 2 more colors, which I didn't really need to launch more colors because I knew that the most neutral color was going to be the best seller, for example. But having 2 more colors and leveraging PPC ad was actually going to give me 6 total positions on page 1. Because I would have had like 3 organic and then 3 sponsored. And imagine how much more visibility and clicks I was getting, because now at the point I had so much more real estate. I'm using PPC as a strategy to buy real estate on page 1 and increase exponentially my chances of making more sales. And once you guys really understand this and the way it works, you can really plan your next product launches on this strategy. Because you're never going to be able to show up so much and get so many more clicks.
And what Danilo is talking about works. I want you guys to imagine that someone typed in this and you're selling finger guard for cutting, and you have a silver one, a blue one, a red one, and a green one. Because you can run an ad on each of your individual listing, each variation. It doesn't go with the parent listing and boom, it's all in. It's each individual one. You can control it. So imagine someone types this in, and now you're showing up 4 times at the top of the search page of search results. It's still all yours, but it's 4 options. People buy by comparison. And the funny part is it's as if your products are competing against each other, which is good. Because people look at these 4 and they say, okay, well, which one? Or even, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which one am I going to buy? If 4 of them are yours, they might say, well, the red one looks more quality than the blue one, even though both are yours. So either way, you get the sale. And then after you've been doing that for a while, you start ranking organically without, you're still going to run ads, but you're depending less on the ad to show up. People search it, and boom, you still show up even if it's not under sponsored.
Yeah, and one more thing, brother, in the past it used not to be like this, but actually now people can also do headline sponsor ads. So imagine you get your sponsor ad all the way up there, and then in your launch stage of your product, you also get visibility. See that bar all the way up there where it says Flux Kitchenware? You can actually show that's actually not a very well optimized sponsor ad, because this guy could have used 2 or 3 more products or pictures. But imagine you have your products there, plus down there, basically you occupy like 20-30% of your page, and everything Amazon customers will be looking at is your listings. So that is so much powerful.
Yeah, and here's the beauty of it, what you just said, Danilo. If the product, if you know you differentiated it well, if you know that it converts well, and obviously part of running ads is to figure that out. All now you need to think about is, how do I get this product in front of people's eyeballs? And look at all this white space here, guys, wasted. You want to use as much of this as possible. It's like, imagine, I remember when I lived in Los Angeles, there's so many billboards in Los Angeles, and you're sitting in traffic and you're just like, oh yeah, look, a Visa advertising for Visa card. How much of that billboard are you going to fill up? That first page is like a billboard, and you want to get as much of your product covering that billboard, because if it converts well, you're going to make money. All you have to do is make sure your product is the best and you've differentiated and the demand is there. Now you're just saying, look, I just need a strategy to make sure I get on that first page all over it. All right, let's keep going. This is awesome. So what are you trying to accomplish with your PPC ad campaign? Well, what are you trying to do? You have to understand your goal. And as we said before, your ultimate goal is to rank organically to the top of the first page of search results for the most relevant keywords. Now, I'm going to expound on this a little bit. And Danilo, if you have thoughts on this, feel free to jump in, brother. The reason this matters so much, you guys, is most people, they think like this. Oh, I need ads so I can make money. Well, of course you do. Okay, you need to advertise it. That's fine. And I'll run ads and make money. That's great. But that shouldn't be your ultimate goal, and here's why. If your product sales only depend on PPC ads, then there's probably something wrong with the product. At some point, if I keep seeing your product and I keep buying it, if I keep buying it, it's going to start ranking on its own. And that organic ranking is going to start paying off. So you spend less money on your ads and more of your income is coming from the organic search results. So how do you rank? You have to get sales. How do I get sales? People need to see it. When you launch a product, what are your chances of you showing up on the first page? Very small, unless you run PPC ads or do a giveaway. This is why I prefer PPC ads. I'm not saying giveaways are bad, but if I have to choose between the two, or I could do both, always going to be PPC ads because you have more control. You can control your budget. You have more control of what happens. And you have more data based on those ads that we're running that you can use to optimize. So again, you need to get it showing up so people buy it. And the more people buy it, the more it ranks. So then it just starts showing up even without an ad.
Yeah, and one thing, brother, once you guys get to the level that basically you're ranking organically with your listing, let's say the first 6 spots of page 1, okay? At that point, the goal for PPC actually becomes to really optimize and make it profitable and lower your PPC spend. But you still want to show your sponsor at that point at half of the page or even possibly at the bottom of the page. Why? Because there's always going to be a lot of customers that, okay, we know that majority of customers, they buy from the first 3 spots, 5 spots, and that's actually 64% of sales on page 1 happens in those 3 spots. But there's a lot of people that keep scrolling down, and then once they find the one they want to sell, they want to buy, they just click on it and buy it. So in case you miss the first wave of buyers, you're gonna get them down there again. So in that case, guys, PPC will really cost you very little because you're not bidding for the top spots, and it will most likely be fruitful and profitable at that point. So that's actually the final step.
That's really good. And in light of that, I'm going to share 2 points with you guys. To do that, to rank organically, you need to, number 1, you're going to achieve profitable ACoS, which is advertising cost of sale. This means you make money off of your ads instead of losing money. So if I spend, let's say $10 on an ad and I get $100 in sales, I made a $90 off of those sales. I have a 10% advertising cost of sale. Second, your goal is to occupy, as Danilo said, the top sponsor spots on the first page of search results so people can see it. So in order to get up here, rank organically, I need to do these 2 down here. Okay, so now we're going to shift into a different topic. That was just an overview. We're going to talk about the foundation of an effective PPC campaign. Danilo, I'm just curious, brother, out of 100 people, when you meet with them specifically talk about PPC, what percentage would you say do not have a listing optimized where it's actually ready for PPC? So you now have to focus more time on the listing itself instead of going straight into PPC.
But to be totally honest with you, I would say 70–80% of the means that we have, the first 30 minutes, 40 minutes have to be spent on the listing. Even if they've been running the listing for some time, I need to tell them how to optimize, because I know that if we don't do that first, PPC is not going to work and our service is not going to be as effective. Because as you mentioned at the beginning, it all goes down to the listing quality and optimization. So, and that's why the goal today with these lives is for really guys you to understand how to optimize that first, so that we can then use PPC effectively.
Yeah, that's interesting. So you guys hear 70–80% of his meetings. That's a large percentage.
And actually, a couple of times I had to just say to the member, "Hey, brother, you purchased the service, we have to stop it here. We cannot move forward and work on your listing, on your PPC campaign, because listing is really not good. So please go back, redo the whole listing, redo the whole pictures, title, bullet points, everything. Then once you're ready, get back to me and we'll do the PPC optimization."
Yeah. We purchased an investment property, Danilo, and we're going to be renting it out through Airbnb here in Austin. and someday in the future, we will sell that house. Imagine that we decide to rent. And right now, if you guys saw the house, I mean, when the renter, we bought it and the renters had one more month. When we went into the house, there was paper with poop on it. There were flies and maggots. There was mold. There were termites. I mean, it made you want to throw up just walking. It was so terrible. Now imagine I tried to advertise this house for rent or for sale. Okay, that's what it's like. If my listing is not amazing and beautiful, why would I advertise it if it's not ready? It's like trying to advertise a house that is broken. It's got problems. The air conditioning's messed up. The roof is leaking. I first need to fix my house. Guys, that's exactly what this part is going to be. So your listing is the foundation of your PPC ads effectiveness. Your PPC ad campaign can only be as effective as your listing. So if your PPC ads reach a cap where they can't get any better, a lot of times that's because the listing needs to change first. Running a PPC ad campaign on top of a weak listing is like building a house on a lily pad. Your listing must pass 6 tests if you want your PPC ad campaign to make you money. So we went through this very carefully in advance. There are 6 things we are convinced you must make sure are excellent if you want your PPC ad campaign to be effective. Number 1, and we use this listing as an example because we really like it, is keyword relevance. You must have relevant keywords. Number 2, keyword demand. There must be a demand in the market. Number 3, competition must be balanced, not too much, not too little. Number 4, your product price matters a lot, not just for room to differentiate, but also for your profit margin and how much value you can add before you reach that cap. Number 5, your featured photo, the number 1 most powerful part of your listing that causes it to convert because people buy it with their eyeballs. And number 6, how you differentiate it. So we're just going to go through each of these guys, and Danilo, just feel free to jump in on each one as we go. First of all, your PPC ad campaign can only be as effective as your listing is keyword relevant because the keywords in the PPC ad campaign need to match the keywords in your listing. So for example, guys, if again, I use my cup as an example, if I'm selling Renaissance wooden drinking mug, that keyword, right, that's a long tail keyword. If I want to rank, that keyword needs to be in the title. It also needs to be in the ad campaign. If it's not, the chances of my ad actually even showing up or being displayed is very, very slim. Keyword relevance means the keywords in the title, most important. The bullet points, second most important for ranking. The back end, third most important. And the product description, whether that's enhanced brand content because you're brand registered or just a regular product description, or you're an A to Z listing, so it's under the manufacturer section where it says manufacturer, doesn't matter, are highly relevant to your product. There should be, look at it this way. If I was to walk through your listing, imagine I'm like, you know, a 2-inch little guy and I'm walking around your listing and I see all these big letters. If I just grabbed and picked up 2 words or 3 words that are descriptive, if those words don't somehow match your listing, we have a problem. It all needs to be relevant to what you're actually selling. And I love this test, Danilo. If a customer typed in this keyword, whatever keyword it is, would my product 100% fulfill their desire?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's exactly how it is, guys. And usually it's simple to that because think about what the product is and how you call it, right? Like, what's the name of that product? And then usually 90% of the time it's your main keyword. Okay. Right. One thing I want to add, brother. Many times you're actually able to understand and test if the main pictures it's good for sales on your listing, or if you did a good differentiation just by simply running, for example, a PPC ad just on your main keyword, your top 1 keyword that describes your product. And if you don't make sales through that main keyword, which is exactly your product, that's a red flag, guys. You need to go back and do something, either the price, either change main picture, or maybe you didn't do a good differentiation or a good product. If you run, for example, 1 word, 1 keyword, your top keyword, you do sponsor ads, top of the page, you just start making sales, you got it. You keep moving forward. Optimize, add more keywords to the PPC campaign and keep going. But this is like so simple, but it has so much importance. Really, you can test that in 10 minutes if you want to.
Yeah, I love that example because as you're saying that, I'm thinking in my mind, when we buy stuff on Amazon, and I search in that search bar and I see a product come up, Okay, I really don't care if it's sponsored or not, but I see it come up. If that product does not look like what I was searching for, if it doesn't fulfill my desire, look, I was looking for Renaissance wooden mug. Why did it in brown? Why did it show me a green one? And it's clearly not Renaissance. It's 1980s retro, you know? And I'm not going to click on it. So whatever that keyword is you guys were trying to rank for, if I click on it, you lost money. If I don't buy it, if I don't click on it, you lost time. I'm going to go to this next part here and show you just an example, guys. So right here, you can see the Bluetooth headphones waterproof. Right, and flame refers to the color, but Bluetooth headphones waterproof. This is a major keyword. This is the main keyword for this listing, which is very well, by the way. And if you come down here, you can see playback noise canceling headset, IPX7 sweatproof earphones, sport headphones. These are just a few examples. The question I ask is this: when I read these keywords, does the product match the keyword? Does it actually have playback noise canceling? Is it a headset? Is it waterproof? Does it have Bluetooth? Is it flame colored? Is it a sports headphones? Can I use these when jogging? If my answer is all a resounding yes, then I know it is relevant. Here's another way to look at it. Look at 3 different examples of keywords. An example of low relevance, medium relevance, and high relevance for this listing right here. Now watch this, you guys. Wireless earbuds, that's low relevance. Why? Number 1, because these earbuds are not earbuds. They are headphones. Look, these are not earbuds. An earbud is usually, you could technically call them earbud, but usually when you have the guard like this coming around with this thing, most people don't call that an earbud. They're going to call it a headphone. Now you still have earbuds. It's still somewhat relevant, but usually earbud, people are referring to the very small little piece that goes in with nothing else. So we actually did a test on this and found that the relevance to that keyword was low. Now check this one out. Headphones with microphone, medium relevance. These are headphones. They do have a microphone, but it's not the main thing. What is the main thing, you guys? They are Bluetooth headphones. That is the main thing. That's what most people are searching for. So if someone types in Bluetooth headphones, the first page of search results, 80% of those results are showing products like this. But if someone types in wireless earbuds, less than 50 are showing products like this. So again, it goes back to the customer. If the customer finds it's relevant, it's relevant. If they don't, even if you think, yeah, but technically it is, it doesn't matter. It's what they want. That determines the market because that's where people put their money. Okay, next one, guys. The next test is keyword demand. This is why we teach you to find a product by starting with keywords, not products. Keywords tell you not only what your customer wants, but actually, when you look at the demand, they tell you how badly they want it. There are 2 indicators of how badly someone wants something. How often it's searched, that's volume, and how long tail it is, that's specificity. So if I search for just a mug, yeah, I'm just looking for a mug. You know, maybe it's a gift from my dad for Father's Day. But if I search Renaissance wooden drinking 12 ounce of that keyword, your product will be in high demand. But if your product has low demand, your PPCI campaign will just bleed you money. And this is, again, why in this defined stage of the training, as well as in the live training, as well as in our roadshows, as well as in our summits, we talk about this. Start with keywords. Because keywords show you where the mind of the shopper is. Anything you'd add to that, Danilo?
Yeah, that's why we focus so much in our course on the actual find stage about it, because we truly believe that that's the foundation for your business. Like understanding how to really find potentially good products based on numbers, keywords, and demand, guys, it is vital. I see many times people, launching products, and then when we look at the numbers, they say like competitors are like selling 40 units a month, 100 units a month. I'm like, right. It's good job you work on this, but look at the demand. Like you cannot expect more than that. So it's really important and vital to really get the hang of product research at the beginning. Just to give a few numbers, guys, so you can remember these numbers. We define a medium demand market when you have numbers of about 4,000 to 6,000 sales per month combined between within the first 10, 15 sellers. Meaning, if you go on Amazon search page, okay, and you type in, for example, Bluetooth headphones, okay? And you see the first 10, 15 sellers, and you add up all their sales by using Amaze Owl, for example, and you see that they're making at least 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 sales a month. That's a good market. It's not like a high demand market, but it's a medium demand market that you can enter. And if you only want to get, for example, 10% of those sales, you can end up making 400, 500, 600 sales a month. That will definitely help you improve the quality of your life. So keep these numbers in mind, guys. And just so you know, these Bluetooth headphones, the listing that we showed you before is actually making about $1 million in sales a month. So it's way over those numbers. But if those guys are making those numbers, we need to learn from them and see what they're doing when it comes to title, bullet points, listing, pictures. So that's why I want to show you the best of the best. But keep those numbers in mind, guys.
Yeah, that's really helpful, man. Thank you. Here's another of demand. Amaze Owl. You can see over here. Again, we use this much more for ideas because it's merchant words than volume, but it still shows you something because it's coming from Google. Over here, your total daily sales. So remember Danilo mentioned typing in Bluetooth headphones or Bluetooth headphones waterproof. Assuming that all these competitors are relevant, and they are, there are 443 daily sales happening, 10,963 a day, just off of this keyword for the top sellers. So I know the demand is very, very strong for Bluetooth headphones waterproof. Therefore, if I build my product based on that data, now it's just a matter of, okay, I just need to make sure my listing is optimized. I need to get it right. I need to understand the balance between analytics and strategy for my PPCI campaign. And now it's just a matter of putting my product in the right place so I make money. The money's there, it's flowing in. How do I put myself to receive it? You see what I mean? That's a lot of sales is like that, guys, online is you're trying to position yourself in a way so that the money, people are going to keep spending money. How do you get yourself so that your wallet is open to receive that money on your listing? And this, you have to start with this. Here's another example. This comes from JOD Toolbox. And guys, as I've said a million times, and I'll say it again, Amazon does not release search volume on keywords. Anyone who says they do or says they have a software they do, it's not true. They don't. They don't have that data. No one does. This search volume comes from Google. We will be honest with you. It is from Google. And this is from JOD Toolbox. And these, by the way, are very conservative numbers. We want to err on the side of being very conservative. Another indicator of demand is going to be search volume. Even if it's on Google, it's not as direct. It's a much lower, it has much less weighting when you're looking at criteria, but it still matters because if I notice, man, in the last 3 months, a lot of people have started searching for Bluetooth headphones, waterproof swimming, maybe because it's summer. I know that there's probably an increased interest on Amazon as well. It's not direct, but it's indirect. But more importantly than this, look right here where it says rank. What is this telling me? When I type in Bluetooth headphones or waterproof Bluetooth and this one comes up, this is autocomplete. It's telling me what people were actually searching for on Amazon, and ranking means this is the top. Number 2, this is the second. So if your ranking is anywhere from numbers 1 to 5, typically there's going to be 10 rankings when it comes to autocomplete. If you're within the first 5, that is a strong indicator of very specific demand, and usually for long tail keywords like these. So let me just go back real quick, guys. Again, we talk about how do you know there's keyword demand? Okay, you have this Amaze Owl, you have this JOD Toolbox autocomplete are 2 ways to figure that out quickly at the beginning. Okay, the next thing is competition. This is your next test. Now, people get confused about competition, and that's why I want to talk about this. We teach you to take a strong look at your competition before choosing any product to launch. Now, why would I do that? There's a lot of merit. There's a lot of benefit. If I can launch a product that no one is selling, that de-risks me. So that by the time I launch, there aren't, 15 other new sellers who've been also doing the same thing. And boom, now I'm in the middle of super thick competition. And there are 2 ways to protect yourselves from that. Number 1, when you differentiate. No one can differentiate like you if you have not just differentiated on real value, but also perceived value. In other words, when I bring my own taste or style, or my wife brings her own taste or style to packaging a product and the design and how we want it to look in the theme and the story of our companies, there's an edge there that no one can compete with. But second, this is the beauty, your PPC ad campaigns can teach you and show you what people are searching for already before it's even been launched. And that's what the China trip and sourcing an E was all about. A product may have high demand, but if the competition is fierce, you may have to spend a lot more money on PPC to get your product visible enough to sell. And if the competition is too weak, this could indicate either a weak market with not enough sales, or, and I should have added this, a risky market. Let me put it this way, guys. There are a lot of people launching new products. They launch them and they do nothing. And no one else had launched the product because they had this, oh, I got this really cool idea, you know, on Etsy, or I got this really cool idea on this life hack blog, or I found this really cool idea because me and my friend were talking and it seemed like a good idea. But you don't really know until you see sales. So they went ahead and they launched it, and it's sitting there. I have friends, and it's sitting there, and it's doing nothing. And they were trying to avoid the traditional method of, oh, look at all this criteria, and you jump in and you have all this competition because everyone else and their uncle's doing the same thing. The way you de-risk yourself from that, my friends, is PPC. Because PPC will give you that data, and you have two options. You either launch that product and build a whole new one based on PPC, or you tweak it based on the PPC information. That's how you avoid getting crushed by the competition. Danilo, anything, brother?
No, this is perfect, man. I mean, I know you worked hard on this yesterday, and you outlined it perfect. So nothing to add on this, but perfect.
Okay, no problem. All right. Okay, so again, here's another way you can see the competition, guys. Danilo mentioned this a few minutes ago. On Amaze Owl, if you search Bluetooth headphones waterproof, how do I know of these 16 when I click on competitors and reports? How do I know if they're relevant or not? People keep asking this question a lot. Whoops. I'll tell you how. When you look at each of these competitors by clicking on that button there, simply ask this question. Is the product what the keyword says? Bluetooth, headphones, waterproof. If all three of those are true, it's headphones, it's Bluetooth, it's waterproof, it's good. If it's Bluetooth headphones but not waterproof, you move it to ignored. If it's headphones waterproof but it's not Bluetooth, you move it to ignored. But if it's all three, Bluetooth, headphones, waterproof, you're going to keep it. That's how you know it's relevant. These 16 competitors are all relevant based on that keyword, okay? This tells me there are 16 strong selling, around 15 or more sales, and again, it depends on the product category. In this case, it's going to be higher per month per day for strong competitors. And this gives me an idea of the market. Why does competition matter? If you look at it this way, oh, just to avoid that other people compete, that's not the right way. Look at it this way. They provide me data. That's data. When you look at your competition, you get data so you can build something that mentors into a blue ocean that's different, that's new, that's better based on the data you learn from them. Now, again, if this number gets to over 20, I would be very hesitant to launch because then it's really hard to get on the first page of search results. If it's under 3, I would also be hesitant because it may mean there's not enough demand, or maybe it was just a fluke and there's just 3 who really have captured the market and people are brand loyal to those 3, and that's it. So between 3 and 20 as a general rule of thumb is safer, but if you're under 15, that's really good for mobile optimization because typically you're going to see 15 show up on the application on your phone. Here's an example again. You can see each of these Bluetooth wireless headphones. That's just a look at some of the top competitors of these 16 when you click on that button right there. Okay, product price. Guys, this is so important. I know some of you guys are launching products that are like $15. I'm not saying you can't do it. My wife and I still sell products that's under $12. It makes us very decent money. Does it make us most money? No, but it still makes money. You can do it. Very difficult, and let me explain why. Your product price and your profit margins have a massive impact on the profitability of your PPC campaign. It's like this. If I give you, hey, look, your profit margin, it's 5%, okay? Or let's just say 15%. You have very little wiggle room to run a PPC campaign because you have to spend a lot of money to get up there. And then when you finally start ranking, you already spend a ton of money. So you might be saving money at the beginning when you launch, but you might have a hard time making money later on when you're trying to run your PPC campaign.
100%.
If your product is priced too low, it is hard to find profit margins strong enough to have room left for PPC ads. If you increase the value of your product, which is good, now we're talking about bundling, but if you increase it beyond the market cap for your product, if you overdo it, oh, I'm selling gloves. Oh, I'm also selling a hanger for gloves and a jacket to go with the gloves and a pair of boots to go with the gloves. At some point, like, people are not going to buy it and it confuses them. if you increase the value of your product beyond the market cap for your product, you will struggle to sell it at all. And you may be forced to drop your price so low, you have no profit margin left. So you must know the market cap. How do I know that? Amaze Owl gives me the data. Keepa gives me the data. I look at the last 6 months and ask myself, what was the highest? What was the lowest these competitors sold this product for? And now I understand whether or not I'm looking at a sudden fluke, like a sudden spike in the price that's unrealistic. And, you know, next month, the price is going to drop. The selling price on Amazon is going to drop from 59 to 29. I just lost my profit margin. You see? So your product price is important. Danilo, what is your favorite product price range? If you could say, man, the rest of my life, all Amazon products I launch are going to be within this range, what would you recommend, brother?
I love it between $25 and $40, to be honest with you. I think that's a perfect price range when it comes to initial investment on your product, and also for profit margin for, you know, a successful PPC campaign. I think that price range it's really good. We usually suggest we at least start looking for products that sell anywhere between $18 to $20 at least, guys. When you look at those products with those prices, try to at least find markets that sell a little bit more units per day, so it's actually more worth your time and money and effort to launching that product. And just to add to this, brother, this is why, you know, usually most of the times members that have higher priced products like $30, $35, $40, even 25 in their price range, it's way easier to do PPC or to optimize PPC for profit because you have enough room. You make enough money. If you have 35% profit on a $40 price product, it's way more cash in your pocket than a 35% profit on a $15 price product. So percentage is the same, but the actual money in your pocket, it's not. So keep that in mind. And one more thing I want to add, brother. On the last point that you outlined here, when you say, you know, if you increase the value of your product beyond the market cap for your product, that's so true, guys. Sometimes people, they go crazy about bundling and increasing the value of a product, and they do the mistake of bundling main products together, and that will take you way into different path, into the wrong position for your listing. Because if you're bundling too many things together, main products together, you will be confusing your customers, as you mentioned, man. And then you will have to raise your price. You have to sell at a higher price, but people don't want to buy that bundle because they're just looking for one of those two products, for example. And so you will be in a position that in your mind, you created such a great offer, a great listing, but the market don't want it. So before doing that, guys, really study, as Seth was mentioning, study the market, study the numbers, see what people is buying the most. And if people are buying the most, that specific combination of products or that specific product, there's a reason, because that's fulfilling a need. Now, focus on that need, focus on that struggle, and find ways to give them the best experience possible through the product. But it's not just about putting a bunch of things together, but really find a way that makes sense for your customers.
Yeah, that's really well said, man. I can't add anything to that. Thank you, brother.
Absolutely.
Right here is an example from Amaze Owl where you can look at the price history. Each of these, a lot of people aren't aware of this opportunity in Amaze Owl. Once you click on competitors and reports, on the left side, you're going to see a tab that says stats. If you click on it, it takes you to several charts, two of them which are here. And you can see right here of these products, two of them, each of these bars represents one product, are selling between 50 and 60. So they're doing something very special and unique, or it's their brand, to sell at that price. Others are selling between 20 and 30, and these are selling between 10 and 20. So you can see right here, the average price range is in this range right here, and the median price range is right around $25. Now, if you go down here, check this out, guys. Each of these lines represents a product. So again, $30, 45, went up to 60, stayed at 60, went down to about 55, went up to 60, went down to 30. You can see over time, and it also gives you a timeline. You can't see it on here because it's just a screenshot. Sorry about that. This gives you, again, the history. So understand when you, again, if I'm selling a wooden Renaissance drinking mug, I need to know over the last 6 months, on average, what was this selling for? I need to know that. And if I don't know that, I could get myself in deep trouble. So there's two things really going on here, guys. Check this out. You have your product price cap up here. See that? And you have your product price margin. Both matter. So right here, based on looking at suppliers, you're going to profit about $8.89 per Bluetooth headphone waterproof if it's selling at this price. And this price is the median price of these 16 top competitors. This is important. Again, and this is going to vary from product to product and category to category. If you are a minimum 40% profit margin, a minimum $8 profit per sale, I think you're in a good place. Now, if you can get that higher, that's great. Have I seen some people do 30%? Yes. We've done lower than that before. But it depends a lot on the product and the cost of those keywords. How often, Danilo, do you see profit margin impacting people for better or worse? And what are some of the strategies you use when you run into that, man?
You mean when optimizing PPC?
Well, yeah, exactly. So, for example, someone's like, man, Danilo, my profit margins are 15%. You know, like, what do you usually do in that situation? Do you say, hey, look, you need to start over, or let's go back, talk to another supplier, or let's, okay, maybe there is a chance to run PPC on this. What are your thoughts on that?
Awesome question, man. I'll answer with two different scenarios. Okay, one is when we meet our, for example, Diamond members or our mentorship members, and we get to meet like once per week. In that case, like one of my goals every single week when I meet with our member is to really make sure that they understand the importance of pricing. So I give them caps. In this case, our purchase price caps. Okay, so how much am I spending? How much am I paying for this product to buy from my supplier? And can I make a profit once I launch it? And guys, if let's say our price cap is $7, if we have a supplier that asks you for $8.50, we're not gonna buy that product because I know that $1.5 can make me a difference later with profit and PPC and all the rest. That's the first answer when before when you're actually developing a new product. So basically, know your cost and make sure you don't overspend for your product. It's kind of like when you buy a house, right? How do you know if when you sell it for a profit, it's gonna be profitable or not? Well, it depends on how well you buy the property at the beginning. Depending on how well you buy, you can then make a profit. The same thing in this market, in market in general. The other scenario about it is when we do PPC optimization. And that's why in our survey, the one that we send out once our members buy the PPC service, we ask you for the profit margin. And we tell exactly, please tell me profit margin, which is product cost, sale price minus product cost minus shipping minus FBA fees. We need to know that. Because if you give me like a profit margin of 18%, I can tell you already before we meet, hey, here's going to be difficult. Unless you're selling for $150 product, if 15% is still a decent amount of money, but you're not in a good position. So before moving forward, can you actually in a month come back and strike a better deal with a different supplier or do C shipping so you can save a couple bucks on shipping? Like we need to find ways, and usually we help them to actually lower those costs. If it's not possible, we either decline the meeting for PPC because I know it's going to be really hard to make a profit, but still it's not going to even make sense, at those profit margins. So if that's the case, we definitely decline that, brother. But going back, guys, please make sure to do your numbers when you do product research and when you're talking to suppliers, and make sure to not overpay for products. And remember, these suppliers, it's a market, it's a negotiation process. They want to sell you something, you want to buy the same product. You guys got to meet somewhere. Don't ever meet to where they tell you to go. You always want to negotiate and counter offer and get the best price for your company. So always be smart about it. Be a little bit talented about it. Always negotiate with your suppliers.
And sometimes, guys, you want suppliers and you love it because their English is really good and their communication is really prompt and you're impressed. Like, man, they're doing business so clear and well. Sometimes, unfortunately, that's because it's a trading company. They've been trained to do that because they just want to get the sale. So they're not necessarily looking for a long-term relationship. They're looking for as many one-offs as they can get. It's a different business strategy. It's not wrong. It's just different, and it doesn't help a lot of sellers. So sometimes when it takes a long time for a supplier to get back to you or their English is very broken, sometimes that indicates it's actually a more legit supplier because they are a supplier. They're not trying to sell to the world or to Amazon or the market. They just want people who want to buy their product. So they have fewer customers all over the world that they go deep with. And those are the ones you're going to get some really good prices. So never just take yes for an answer from your first supplier. I would recommend, and we have this in the course, talking to 20 suppliers before you decide, 20. Because your chances are your knowledge is going to grow so much after that. And I know it takes a long time, and you go back and forth, you get frustrated, supplier doesn't work out. I know that. But once you find the right supplier, it is so worth it, you guys, because 3 or 4 months down the road, now you're making far more money and that PPCI campaign is optimized. I just think it's so cool, Danilo. Here we're talking about PPC ads, and yet the supplier you negotiate with is going to impact your PPC ad.
PPC,
That's
100%.
We didn't want to just say, hey, here's a strategy for launching PPC, and we're going to get there. Step by step by step, we're going to show you how to do it. We want you to understand the foundation so you do it right and you're set up for success. Because too many people, they're ready for PPC ads, but they're not really ready for PPC ads because they have to go back and fix a bunch of things.
Yeah, I see so many times, PPC teaching just about get these keywords, put these keywords there, raise the bid, lower the bid. Yeah. Really, that's the end part. Like what we're talking about today, that's the foundation.
Yeah. And once you understand PPC ads and have a handle on it, guys, it's not so complicated. Yes, you have to keep pivoting and adjusting, but it's almost like, to me, Danilo, it's like playing chess. It's like a game. You get to test this and try that, and this didn't work. It really is like you're doing an online game with other sellers.
A strategy game.
Yeah, exactly. So featured photo. Guys, this is the #1 most important thing for converting your product. Amazon shoppers buy with their eyes. Your featured photo is the #1 most important part of your listing for conversion. Conversion means out of all the people that look at it, how many buy it? If 100 people land on your listing and 10 buy, you have 10% conversion. What percentage of shoppers buy your listing after landing on it? Now, here are the guidelines based on Amazon. And this is where you may bend some of these rules, and I understand why, and I'll explain. I've never seen someone's account suspended or removed or anything negative for doing some of these things, which I'll explain in a minute. Your first photo must have a pure white background. If you have a white product and you make the background a little bit off-white, I have never seen Amazon suspend someone or flag them for it, but they do say it needs to be a pure white background. Your minimum 1,000 DPI, that means dots per inch, so that it won't turn fuzzy when customers do the zoom in on it. So make sure it has 1,000 minimum DPI. Make sure it shows the entire product. And this is really important, guys. Real estate, and what I mean by that is using up the space you have. Remember earlier when Danilo talked about your headline ad at the top, and that guy was only using a small portion of it? Use as much as you can so that at least 80% of your image area is filled out. That means you may have, if you have a long, tall, skinny product like this mug, you may have to turn it on an angle so it's corner to corner so people can see more and it really pops out when they're scrolling through Amazon. Include only what the customer will receive. Be careful with accessory items. I've had listings not removed but suppressed by Amazon because when we put together this really nice fashion, like it was a blouse, but the model was wearing a necklace with it, we weren't trying to do this, but it almost gave the impression, oh yeah, it comes with the necklace. And so like, no, you can't do that. So you have to be careful. It only includes what the customer will receive. Now here are the rules I'm talking about that I think they're very gray, definitely not black. Amazon says that you can get a quality alert. I've never had one in my life on your listing. And again, it doesn't mean they won't, guys. I'm not Amazon, but I'm just telling you by experience. So avoid having borders around your image. I'd avoid that anyways. It's a waste of space. Watermarks. I don't like watermarks, but again, that's, I think it looks cheesy. They're trying to protect the photo. People can still Photoshop it out if they want. Text. I sometimes use text. Colored backgrounds. Definitely don't do it on your first photo. Drawings or sketches of the product. The closest I get to a drawing is 3D rendering for some of my products. Promotional text such as sale or free shipping. Prime Day is coming, Danilo. And of course it's going to be free shipping if it's Amazon Prime. Yep. So I would just say use these rules. Be aware of them. If you break them, you do it at your own risk. It's up to you. Some of them, again, I've never seen Amazon do anything, but don't bank on that. And then if Amazon comes after you, like, Danilo and Seth, they misled me. We're just telling you based on what we learned and we've seen and experienced.
I want to highlight the importance of split testing in this case, referring to the main picture, guys. Yes. And I do this. I still do that today. Okay, when I launch a new product, I believe the main picture is the best one in my mind. Then I launch the product and like, why are my other sellers selling more and I'm not selling that much? Then I change picture, brother, and like this happened to me in the past, man. For this product, I was selling like 5 to 10 units a day, man.
Right.
I changed picture the same day, I sold 40 units, brother, with a different picture, which I didn't think was the best one. So guys, importance of split testing the main picture can make this such of a big difference on your sales, because the main picture is the only one touch point between you and your future potential customers. It's the only way that you have on the Amazon search page to catch their attention, trigger their curiosity, and have them click on your listing. If the main picture is not attractive, nobody's going to click on your. I mean, very few people are going to click on your listing. One more example, brother. I had a PPC meeting last week with one of our members, and basically, the whole problem was the main picture. Why? Because she had this beautiful main picture, but was kind of more for a magazine. Okay, beautiful background, text, amazing picture for, imagine like on a magazine. But then the actual product, it was so small that you could not see from the search page. I was like, hey, you need to fix that like yesterday, because if you don't do that, I'm not going to do PPC with you, because PPC is not going to work. So split testing, guys, that is so important.
And when you're split testing, Danilo, are you using third-party services like PickFu, or are you just doing it on the listing? You switch out the photo, you run it for a week, and you see if there's any difference, and you come back and do it based on that. What has been most effective for you?
I believe, brother, you can start on your own, but that website, that service is great, because you actually get to see with different people's eyes what is it that they're looking at. But can you do it yourself and just see what the market says? Yes, 100%. Like, let's say you start your first week with a picture, and then at the same time you start that campaign on PickFu, and then once you get results, you can then optimize the second week with those results. You know what I mean? So you can use them both at the same time.
And guys, I want to encourage you something too. I know a lot of people, they go all out for the white background. Here's what they do: they get a picture of their product, and they go to Fiverr and they say, okay, I need to find someone to make a white background. So someone comes along, they create several layers in Photoshop, then they outline it, and then they make all the background white. It doesn't look bad. I strongly encourage you to not completely eliminate the shadow. A little bit of shadow looks great. I was just talking about this, Danilo, I think it was 2 or 3 days ago on my Instagram live that I do every day at 11:30. And man, like, I just took time to go through their entire magazine. And it was really interesting. And they're really good at their photos. In every single product listing or every product photo, you can see just a little bit of shadow to add some depth.
Yep.
Because background. So again, guys, you want the picture to create an experience. You don't want it to just look pretty. You want it to create a feeling. When I see a picture and I see a little shadow, that looks so much more like I'm looking at my wall right now. And there's the gray tiles. I see shadow from the gray tile against the green background. That looks much more realistic to me than if it's just flat. You know, you don't want people to think Photoshop when they see it. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, this also will help a lot. We have, like, for example, white products or transparent products. Okay. Yes. If in that case you're not able to add some shadow to your product, either your photographer when they added the picture, or a 3D designer, if they're not able to add some shadow, it will be really difficult to actually see that white product on a white background, or, trust me, that transparent product on a white background. So yeah, that is super important what you just said about it.
Excellent. All right, brothers, and there you have an example of a picture. I think it's lacking shadow. I think it's too flat, but still, it's very clean. I can 99% guarantee you this is a 3D render, but I don't know for sure. Okay, there's one more. I thought we were done. I just would not want to forget this one. Differentiation is huge, guys. Amazon shoppers need a very strong reason to buy from you instead of from your competition. This is why Me Too products, they never work. Oh, someone's selling really well. Let me go buy an Alibaba and sell it too. It doesn't work. You need to fulfill a need that no one else is fulfilling. When you build your product, it must bring value no one else is providing. This may be perceived value, like beautiful packaging, or real value, like the material of the product, or both. Your PPC ad campaign will only be as strong as its differentiation. Look, no matter how much money you spend on the ad campaign, when it shows up on the screen, you can't make them buy it. You can't. You can't push the button, add to cart. You can't make them do it. So how do you do it? Your product needs to look better. Why does differentiation matter so much? People buy by comparison. I'll give you a simple example. You decide you want to buy a home. I doubt you just go to the first home and buy it. You probably end up with 10 homes that you like, narrow it down to 5, then 4. Okay, there's 3. And then based on multiple factors like the price and the look and the value and the roof and everything else, you make a decision. You do it by comparison. Now, if you were doing that in Omaha versus New York, the homes look very different. But it doesn't, if you're buying a home in Omaha, it doesn't matter what they look like in New York because it's irrelevant. So when someone searches your product must be better than all your competition. They're going to buy your product based on comparing it to others. Here's how they see the value. Just like buying a car. You look at all the different cars, you pick the one that you like out of that group. Not the best one in the world, not the best one in the US, the best one on the car lot. In the same way, when someone searches your product, they're going to pick the best product on the page. Yours must fulfill a need no one else's is doing.
Brother,
go for it. Yes.
Very quickly, brother. And this is why, that's the very exact reason why reviews are not that important anymore, guys. Yes, social proof is good. Social proof is important. But at the end of the day, guys, customers are shopping on Amazon because they want to buy products. They don't want to buy reviews. So even if you have, even if you're in your listing with, let's say, 10 reviews, but you show them in these pictures, in the main picture, what is it that they're going to receive in their house? What is it that you're selling? Like so clearly, so very well presented, and you are competing against somebody else's listing with more reviews, you can beat them 100%, guys. We have stores, myself, other members, with 3 reviews, making 40 sales in a day with 3 reviews. Why? Because differentiation. This member launched this product a couple of weeks ago, basically. Day number 3 with 3 unverified reviews, it was selling 20 units a day, and then went up to 30, 35 units a day. We literally 3 unverified guys. And so
three, real quick, I just want to make sure they heard that. 3 unverified reviews, 20 sales a day. I'm going to say it again. 3 unverified. Unverified means no one even bought the product, you guys. They just went on and said, hey, friend, could you review this for me? Okay. And they went and reviewed it. Unverified purchase, 20 sales a day. How in the world is that possible?
Yeah. No, there was day number 3. After like day 5 was a 30, 35 per day. So like just to give you a perspective on that, man. And one more thing, guys, don't really, we all these different reviews, updates from Amazon. Yes, you know, as always, they do updates, they own the business, but we need to adjust. And now more than ever is the time to really focus on your listing and pictures and really make sure that you go to the market like a one-of-a-kind listing and beat the other guys.
Yeah, this is excellent, guys. Guys, we're going to stop there. I cannot believe that went by so fast, Danilo. Here, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Okay, guys, I hope this has been extremely helpful to you. I want you to understand we want to lay a foundation upon which you can build an effective PPC campaign. So all these things, it's all connected. Everything's related, okay? And next week, we're going to be back. We're going to move into how to find the best keywords because your PPC campaign is made up of keywords. How do you find that? How do you group them? What kind of campaigns do you put them into? We also have a very super cool new hack. I want to thank Danilo that we're about to share with you guys that we haven't shared with anyone yet. You might have shared with a couple people, Danilo, but I have not shared this publicly at all with our warriors. And this is only for you. We're not sharing this on Instagram. We're not sharing this on YouTube. Super, super cool hack, you guys. You're going to love it. It feels like Christmas, opening a Christmas present. It's so cool, guys. And I want to tell you, this is why I love you, Danilo, and the coaches and the team. You guys are learning from what we're doing. This isn't just like, oh, here's a nice book, go read it. You're learning out of experience. And that is the best knowledge. And that is how you make money, my friends. That's how you crush it out there. That's how you become a millionaire. You go and you do and you mess up and you keep on going. And are you going to fail on some products? Amen, you will. You absolutely will. I want to give you a high five because if you do, you're that much stronger. None of us have 100% success on every single product. None of us. Does it get better over time? Yes, of course. Our goal is to teach you from our mistakes. That's as real as you can get. And I hope that's helpful to you guys. And please know, we're going to take questions next week. If you have questions, we're able to answer them. Write them down. You'll still have access to them when you go back and watch the video. We will have time for that. But we want to lay a foundation first because it's much more effective. Danilo, any last words, brother, before we go? Mr. Slice, my friend.
Yeah, I thought you were going to give the hack, brother.
You want to do it now?
You want to do it now or next week? Up to you, brother.
No, I'm finding. Let's do it next week. It's already 11 after. Let's do it next week. Let's make them. Oh, shoot, please. Let's wait till next week. Yeah.
All right, buddy. Guys, thank you so much for being here today, man. I think what we're doing now is so powerful, man, because this is really the foundation for PPC. And we want members to understand that. You cannot just use PPC at the end, but you need to really build it before. And that's why you're really starting from the beginning. And then the next weeks, we're going to do in-depth PPC optimization, how to create a campaign, how to launch it, how to leverage PPC to make sales and launch from day one.
Yep. Amen. Awesome, brother. Thank you, man. All right, guys. Have an awesome day, everyone.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
All right. Take care, guys.